Hello and welcome to CricketNext Live. I am Vineet Ramakrishnan, and today we are diving into a major story that's putting up the future of international cricket on the edge. The Pakistan Cricket Board is seeking guidance from their government on hosting the upcoming Champions Trophy after BCCI had informed ICC that they won't be traveling to Pakistan for the tournament. This decision stirs a lot of tension, with the PCB adamant about hosting the event fully in Pakistan and rejecting the hybrid model. With less than 100 days left, what could this mean for the future of Champions Trophy and the India-Pakistan cricket ties also? And to break down this, we have Jamie Alter and Tauz Rizvi with us, our usual uh, suspects in this live session. Jamie, I'll kick this off with you. हमने बहुत सुन लिया. There have been a lot of chatter about this, and ever since, and this is not something which is new. Ever since Champions Trophy पाकिस्तान में host करेंगे, ये information, ये news आया था, तब से ये बात चल रही है कि whether India will travel to Pakistan or not. And the stand was pretty much clear कि India travel तो करने नहीं वाली. And now it is in a way has been made official by BCCI, mailing it to ICC, and Pakistan may bilkul, like as the graphic suggests, it's been kind of an harakiri mode. Mohsin Naqvi ek side se kuch bol rahe hain, you have the former players and everybody bringing into this chatter. My first question to you: do you think this Champions Trophy will happen, or even if it happens, even if it does not happen, do you think it will impact, or it will have that kind of an impact that one of the ICC events is just off the calendar?
Good question. I think the ICC and all the stakeholders will find a way, to make it happen. But I don't see it happening in the way that the ICC and the PCB, especially Vineet, want it to happen. नई बात नहीं है. अभी हम before going live, we were all joking कि भाई हम तो Asia Cup साल से ऊपर से हम बात कर रहे हैं कि ये नहीं होगा. Still people thought it would be there, but we, at least three of us and a few of our ex-panelists, were very, very certain कि वो नहीं हो, India नहीं जाएगी. अब इंडिया ने वजह नहीं दी. I mean, again, we have to understand that's not going to happen. We don't need to get into the hierarchy or the chronology as it goes to see the reasons why it's not going to be. Where things will get murkier is that in a few weeks from now, Jai Shah is going to become ICC president, right? And we all know his proximity to the government. We all know his connection. We all know his power in the cricket community. How quickly he became the youngest ICC member and ACC president. All that good stuff. So it's going to get murky. It's you do at some level feel sorry for Pakistan, as stubborn or naive beneath as they might have been in assuming कि end वक्त तक क्या 100 दिन तो रहते हैं, लेकिन that's still very short, especially when हम सुन रहे हैं खबरें वहां से कि अभी stadiums तैयार नहीं हुए. all the turmoil that Pakistan cricket itself has seen in the last 6 odd weeks. So you do feel sorry for them, but again, if they actually thought that the Indian government would send the Indian team, they're living in a fool's paradise. Unfortunate if they don't show up, because then it will not be a truly global sport. We've seen Pakistan cricket at its best, at its worst, all in the space of 6-7 weeks now. So you need an event like the Champions Trophy, which is like that लावारिस बेटा in some many ways. अपना है पर अपना पूरा नहीं है, क्योंकि भाई 8 साल से तो हमने इसको घर पे बुलाया नहीं. वो कहीं काम है, विदेश में रहता है, काम करता है, पर इतना इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है कि हम उसको दिवाली पे बुलाएंगे. Funnily enough, Pakistan are the defending champions, but it takes time to process, क्योंकि साला 2017 के बाद से तो ये comeback tournament हुआ नहीं. So now it's becoming a somewhat important series only because of all the, like this graphic says, all the harakiri going on. I personally am not a huge fan of the Champions Trophy. I think it doesn't offer much. 8 तो teams हैं जिनमें से 4 अच्छे होते हैं. But yeah, if you want an answer to your original question, होगा, पर मुझे लगता नहीं है कि पाकिस्तान में होने वाला है अभी.
Yeah, that's actually the point कि होना तो होगा. And ताउस भाई, the reason why वो होना इसलिए है, not because Champions Trophy का कोई मायने है या Champions Trophy को आप World Cup के बाद अगले रंग में रखते हैं, ऐसा नहीं है. It is just because of the optics of the revenue in terms of India versus Pakistan. एक clash आपको किसी ना किसी टूर्नामेंट में लेकर आना है. वर्ल्ड कप है, चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी है, that's about it, right? I mean, then your T20 formats and World Cups, that's about it. तो वो एक जो अपॉर्चुनिटी है इंडिया वर्सेस पाकिस्तान मैचअप के लिए, आप लेट गो कर रहे हैं उस चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी को. दैट इज वेयर आई थिंक पाकिस्तान आर वेरी मच एडमेंट. पाकिस्तान को हमारे पास होस्टिंग राइट्स हैं. दिस विल बी द फर्स्ट टाइम since 1996 that Pakistan would be hosting a global ICC event, तो वो उनके लिए एक बड़ी बात है उस चीज के लिए. And India also cannot outrightly go ahead and say कि नहीं हम नहीं जा रहे, हम forfeit करेंगे, because India Pakistan ये है, ICC के लिए भी वो एक बड़ी चीज आती है. So what does it, how do you see this in terms of going forward कि यार इंडिया पाकिस्तान तो होना ही होना है, चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी अब बाहर हो यहाँ हो, of all this model, what do you see? I mean ICC का को important है India versus Pakistan, but this stand of BCCI is it's what would PCB do here?
Yeah, I think these world ICC tournaments are important for ICC and Pakistan, not for BCCI, right? ये तो हम सबको पता है कि कितना मतलब रेवेन्यू सब 70% तो इंडिया से ही आता है. एंड दिस इज इम्पोर्टेंट बिकॉज आपका इंडिया पाकिस्तान, इफ यू सी द ग्रुप्स, इफ यू सी द वर्ल्ड इवेंट्स, most of the times you won't see India and Pakistan in different groups, क्योंकि आईसीसी को पता है कि वो मिल कर सकते हैं यही पर्टिकुलर मैच से. तो वो शुरुआत में ही, चाहे वो T20 वर्ल्ड कप हो, आईसीसी चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी हो या वर्ल्ड कप हो 50 ओवर का, तो शुरुआत से ही ग्रुप ए में या ग्रुप बी में दोनों को एक ही में डालते हैं कि यार बाद में फ्यूचर में आपको पता नहीं कि यार नॉकआउट स्टेजेस में इंडिया पाकिस्तान मिले या ना मिले, तो हमको वो क्रीम, वो मलाई जो होती है वो शायद ना मिले. तो दे स्टार्ट विद दैट. It's one of the key encounters, one of the cows of ICC. Otherwise revenue कहाँ से आता है? I mean obviously India से आता है, but then ICC tournaments की बात करेंगे तो it's this particular match that gets most of the revenue compared to other matches. Other games को आप मिला लीजिए, सब मिला के इसका रेवेन्यू इतना बड़ा होता है कि यार पूरा टूर्नामेंट सेटल हो जाता है. तो आई मीन आई बिलीव ये पाकिस्तान इतना भी नाइव नहीं होगा कि यार कि उनको आइडिया नहीं होगा कि यार इंडिया नहीं आने वाला. ऑब्वियसली इट वाज ऑब्वियस, जब हमको मालूम हो सकता है हमको कि यार इट्स वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर इंडिया टू गो आउट देयर एंड प्ले, एंड वी ऑल नो द सिचुएशन, वी ऑल नो द पॉलिटिक्स. सो पाकिस्तान को नहीं मालूम होगा, मोहसिन नकवी को नहीं मालूम होगा, या उनके आवाम को नहीं मालूम होगा, ऑब्वियसली मालूम होगा. बट देन दे वर, आई डोंट नो, दे वर, as Jamie Bhai said, they were living in a fool's paradise. Even if they knew कि यार ऐसा नहीं हो सकता, इंडिया आएगी, क्योंकि देखिए मुश्किल है यार, पाकिस्तान यहाँ आ सकती है, आपको वो फैक्टर, क्योंकि पूरी दुनिया को एक फेथ है इंडिया में, इमर्जिंग इकोनॉमी है एक, और वन ऑफ द डेवलपिंग नेशंस कहेंगे इसको. तो आप देखेंगे आईपीएल, आप देखेंगे बाकी नेशंस सेफली खेल के चले जाते हैं. पाकिस्तान में अभी भी वो डाउट्स है, तो वो कहीं ना कहीं वो इंडिया एक स्पेस ढूंढता है कि यार पाकिस्तान नहीं जाना है, तो आप वो ले आते हैं, वो एक सिचुएशन ले आते हैं ना. ऑब्वियसली इट्स नॉट नोबडी वुड रिस्क देयर लाइफ, रिस्क देयर टीम, रिस्क देयर बिगेस्ट सुपरस्टार्स, एंड इट्स इंडियन क्रिकेट टीम यार. इसके पहले नहीं, अभी कुछ ही महीने पहले एक हॉकी टीम जाके आई है, या कोई टीम, चेस टीम शायद गई थी, या कोई इंडियन टीम, कोई तो टीम गई थी इंडिया की तरफ से. कुछ ही महीने पहले एक मीटिंग में हमारे फॉरेन मिनिस्टर भी जाके आए. तो फॉरेन मिनिस्टर जैसे एक वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट वीआईपी, वीवीआईपी जाके आ सकते, तो टीम इंडिया भी जाके आ सकती है. बट एट द एंड ऑफ द डे हमको नहीं भेजना है. दैट्स द क्लैरिटी. गवर्नमेंट का स्टैंड है कि नहीं जा सकते, और सिक्योरिटी रीजन एक बहाना है, और जो एक डिक्टेट है, जो बीसीसीआई फॉलो करना है डिक्टेट, वो कहीं भी होती है. अगर गवर्नमेंट ने कहा है नहीं जाना है तो खत्म हो गई बात, वी हैव टू फॉलो इट, एंड दैट इज व्हाट बीसीसीआई. और रही टूर्नामेंट की बात, आइदर आईसीसी हैज टू कॉम्प्रोमाइज और पीसीबी. यहाँ पर इंडिया कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं करने वाला है. आई मीन बात तो चल रही है कि सेकेंड में ऑल्टरनेट वेन्यू भी डिसाइड हो गया, साउथ अफ्रीका. हाइब्रिड मॉडल अगर एक्सेप्ट नहीं करे तो साउथ अफ्रीका बिना पाकिस्तान के चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी हो सकता है, बिना इंडिया के चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी. एडवर्टाइजर्स अपने बाल खींच लेंगे यार, ब्रॉडकास्टर्स अपने बाल खींच लेंगे. आई मीन आई डोंट थिंक सो.
So yeah, that's what exactly it is. It is about the optics की India का stands clear है इस चीज में, and be it ICC, be it PCB, be it any other board, उनको भी पता है कि इंडिया नहीं होगा चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी में, eyeballs नहीं आने वाले हैं. So anyway, अगर होना भी है तो it has to be a hybrid model, whatever Pakistan says. So JB, in this regard, I have a question for you कि hybrid model हुआ था, एशिया कप में हुआ था, पाकिस्तान और despite being the host were traveling day in day out, एक मैच के बाद जा रहे थे, आ रहे थे. What do you think, what would be better in terms of an hybrid model? Would be better if you want to go ahead and host the Champions Trophy? Would the other teams be comfortable with that, or just completely move it out of Pakistan? And even if Pakistan says कि नहीं हम नहीं करेंगे, हम forfeit कर रहे हैं, and play in a neutral venue like a Dubai or a South Africa which is coming in, what do you think would be much better in terms of going ahead with the competition?
I mean, logistically and for the reasons you underlined, it would be better to have it in one country, right? But the hybrid model, हाँ दिक्कत हुई थी क्योंकि but it was still conducted in a pretty good smooth manner, right? वहां पे 6 टीमें थी, यहाँ पे 8 टीमें, ऐसा नहीं है कि 14 टीमें हैं. It's just 2 more teams. I would think getting to the UAE would be far more easier for them, from Pakistan than going to Sri Lanka. And definitely, when I heard South Africa, मैंने कहा भाई South Africa, that is just, I mean, that's a joke. I mean, Pakistan, South Africa, that's a long distance. UAE is the most practical place to have it. अब हम देख चुके हैं यहाँ पे, yeah. There's been tournaments going on. There's a couple one-day series have been played recently. South Africa played Afghanistan. Afghanistan just beat Bangladesh. So you have venues, UAE, Sharjah. So it will be an unfortunate second option, but I think it's the best option. And over a year now, we've been discussing on these shows possibility, and I've always maintained that for me, the UAE should be it. You'll get crowds there. Sri Lankans will come, but if you want proper crowds for Pakistan, Bangladesh, even Sri Lanka, you'll get that. You'll get that in the UAE. India plays, you're gonna get a crowd. But right now, again, like we just discussed, will the ICC take the stance? Is the PCB going to bend? BCCI, we can't expect them to do anything. They control world cricket. They have all the cards. We don't need, like I said earlier, we don't need a reason. Bas bol diya, hum nahi aa rahe. So, but again, I think a hybrid model is going to be the most logical, unless, and I don't see the PCB agreeing to this, unless they shift the whole thing out. Again, where do you go? It has to be a country. Sri Lanka, I don't think, is ready to host a Champions Trophy in 3 months' time. South Africa is, but then again, you're shifting the whole thing there. There's too many factors. Maybe we see it happen in the UAE if there's no, because again, you have 3 venues, good place for tourism, good place. It's a destination. You've been there, Vineet. You know how it is there. So I think if it is moved out, it will be the UAE.
Actually, even I agree. Considering, I mean, we had this ICC Women's T20 World Cup, right? So they might be prepared. They might be having things in place. On top of that, you have ICC's headquarters in Dubai. So mentally and all, it will be easy for ICC more than Pakistan to have that particular event in UAE rather than Pakistan, because Pakistan, obviously, it will be disappointing for Pakistani fans. Definitely, we are thinking about the PCB, we are thinking about the BCCI, we are thinking about the other boards, ICC. It's the Pakistani fans who are at loss more than anybody else right now. And when they were expecting that India would come and play, and they would see, a high intensity clash between India and Pakistan, and then suddenly it's disappointing for them. Otherwise, PCB, I mean, again, I would say they would be naive thinking that यार अभी तक इंडिया आ सकता है या कोई पॉसिबिलिटी है. बिल्कुल भी नहीं, कहीं से भी नहीं लगेगी.
Right, I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, Dubai. 3 world-class places. Apparently, it's 2 hours connectivity, smooth. Imagine Sri Lanka, Palekele, Dambola, Premadasa. Then the load of 8 teams coming with all that. A place like the UAE can handle that load on short notice. Sri Lanka maybe cannot.
So, yeah, in a sense, the final output or final solution to this seems to be moving the entire tournament out, maybe to UAE, the best option. But here, one thing that arises is both Jamie and Tauz, आप दोनों ने इस चीज का जिक्र ये किया कि यार जब से चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी का अनाउंसमेंट हुआ था, हम सबको पता था कि इंडिया तो ट्रैवल करने नहीं वाली है. जब हमें पता था, आईसीसी को भी पता था, why did not ICC have a contingency plan? Why is it coming down to this late, जहां पे हम यहाँ अफरा तफरी मचा रहे हैं कि नहीं, यहाँ लेटर लिख रहे हैं, वहाँ ये कर रहे हैं, वहाँ पे ये हो रहा है. ऑफ कोर्स इंडिया का स्टैंड क्लियर है, बीसीसीआई का स्टैंड क्लियर है कि हम इंडियन गवर्नमेंट ने जो हमें बोला है, हम उसके वो बाहर जाएंगे नहीं. अब सिमिलरली फॉर पाकिस्तान, पीसीबी में भी, अब पीसीबी आल्सो हैज गॉन टू द गवर्नमेंट saying, insisting कि tell us what to do. And in fact, यहाँ पे जो मोहसिन खान आपकी पीसीबी चेयरमैन है, the same person is here, interior minister there, same the same role of what an home minister here is in India. अब बात तो वही आ गई है, उनका भी स्टैंड क्लियर है कि तो हम जाएंगे नहीं. Of course, यहाँ पे पीसीबी may be right at what they think they are being robbed of a tournament. They are being robbed of that revenue generation. And India also thinks, we can't. BCCI says we can't go beyond what our Indian government says. What does this put ICC in here? Yes, of course, ICC maybe changes over by 1st December. Jesha would take over, but then again, this is a model, or this is an issue. वो ICC के जो अभी office bearers हैं उनको सोचना चाहिए था. Why did not they have a contingency plan? I mean, you are planning such much. You have an FTP, such an extensive FTP. Why was this just ignored or put under the rug till this very point, Jamie?
I mean, sitting on the outside, it's very, very clear that ICC is just a cardboard body, right? We all know who runs it. We've all been journalists long enough that कोई नई बात नहीं है, long time now we know that who actually runs it, and we've seen this. I mean, 6 months ago, T20 World Cup, all the problems in New York, and also we've seen the ICC to many regards. I'm not going to say spineless, but it's just handicapped, because the BCCI controls everything. The same BCCI, I remember we did shows in this when एक साल पहले जब one day World Cup से पहले tickets और schedule नहीं आ रहे थे, हम भी यहाँ बड़े सवाल उठा रहे थे. It's because the BCCI just knows it can do whatever it wants and get it. It's just sheer power, authority, and then that becomes arrogance at some level, right? You're absolutely right in asking the question. The ICC should have done, but is ICC going to do something? Especially when the new chairman is who he is, right? It's just the BCCI and India's way of saying हम कर सकते हैं, तो हम पाकिस्तान की लेंगे प्यार से. That is as in the most layman terms as I can put it. This wouldn't have happened. I mean, we saw this last year again, right? Will Pakistan come? Will they go? Tickets कहाँ है? Schedule कहाँ है? हमने shows पे किए थे. मैंने बताया था कि how in '98 I could plan tickets for '99, and how as journalists we could apply for 15 World Cup in 14. And then it's just the sheer power that the BCCI wields, and they're not accountable to anyone. And we all know it remains a private body. It doesn't fall under RTI and all that stuff. But now it's got to a level where they can do it. They wouldn't have messed with Sri Lanka or Australia, England, ECB. No, it's just the PCB. Tum log karo. We have, and there's a long history. No need to get into that. It's just because the BCCI can do this, and what's the ICC going to do? उनका अगला बॉस ही BCCI से आया है ना, तो it's BCCI just remains a very, very, very hollow, like I said, a hollow ICC remains a very hollow cardboard cutout. We've seen the stances on many issues. Even if we put aside Jesha's time, on Black Lives Matter and on so many things, on gender, they often they do things at their own pace. So even if they wanted to have a contingency plan, like you said, कहाँ से मिलता? BCCI से नहीं भैया, नहीं.
Vineet, you are on mute.
Yes, of course, contingency plan आता तो कहाँ से ही आता? That is the question. But Taos, इसमें एक चीज नोटिस करने की ये होगा कि whatever standoff is we are seeing right now, इसका solution जो भी निकलेगा going forward, as you mentioned before we went live, the impact for this for the cricketing ecosystem would be huge in terms of कि यार Pakistan, yes, the Asia Cup happened in hybrid model. Pakistan agreed to that. Immediately after Pakistan, there was a lot of chatter कि हम World Cup नहीं खेलने जाएंगे, ये नहीं करेंगे, वो नहीं करेंगे. They did go to India to play the World Cup, and now Pakistan are very much adamant that now we are not going to go take that route again. Next year there is an ICC tournament which is the Women's World Cup. Pakistan might not send the team if they keep their stand, if they are very much rigid to that. So you are robbing the world, or robbing the cricket fans of that India-Pakistan rivalry. Be it anywhere. And this is going to happen. I mean, that if Pakistan are not going to budge, they won't budge, and India again are not going for that. So in this all diplomatic or whatever tensions that you talk about, the cricket itself is in a way suffering. The revenue for the ICC, as you mentioned, maybe minuscule hoga, Champions Trophy nahi ho raha. But then again, going forward, this is a precedent that would be set कि आप BCCI को तो छू सकते हो नहीं, but PCB also say कि चलो ठीक है, they'll also take losses and sit back. But then again, you are robbing everybody of that India-Pakistan marquee clash. You're robbing everybody of that contest, the intensity and that fervor that you're talking about. what precedent will this make if Champions Trophy is moved out and Pakistan, let's say कि we are not going there, and it goes on without Pakistan, with India being there. India से revenue आएगा, but India पाकिस्तान से ज्यादा revenue कहीं और से आता नहीं है ना.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, and BCCI. I mean, I don't know if Jay Shah comes and starts taking like thinking about ICC, then he'll have to start, thinking about that particular clash. Otherwise, right now, for now, it's the IPL, it's the other aspects that is, important for BCCI. ICC के लिए India BCCI के लिए India Pakistan is not as important right now. चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी इसलिए इसलिए इतना डिले होता जा रहा है. चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी देखा जाएगा. आपने देखा होगा बहुत सारी डिबेट चल रही है कि यार इंडिया की जगह, बहुत सारे पाकिस्तानी जर्नलिस्ट कह रहे हैं कि इंडिया की जगह कोई और टीम ले आओ, हम कंटिन्यू करेंगे, वी विल प्ले विदाउट इंडिया, विच इज नॉट पॉसिबल, विच इज नॉट पॉसिबल. और मतलब उनका कहना भी ये है कि यार यू हैव टू गो बाय द रूल्स. इफ यू गो बाय द रूल्स, दैट्स these things have happened. A lot of teams have forfeited and they have been replaced by other teams. तो आप इंडिया को रिप्लेस करो किसी और टीम से. तो बहुत सारी चीजें ऐसी बातें चल रही है सोशल मीडिया पे. बट डेफिनेटली यार इम्पैक्ट तो आएगा. फैंस विल बी रॉब्ड ऑफ, एंड विच क्रिकेटिंग बॉडीज यार दे नो एग्जैक्टली कि क्या कितना क्रूशियल एनकाउंटर है, कितना बड़ा है, कितना फर्क पड़ेगा. फैंस लोग डिसअपॉइंट होंगे, मगर at the end of the day, they are not considering the fans. They are considering I mean, they have to follow BCCI in the end. Yeah, they have to follow the government rules. Fans, so they'll be robbed of the good games. बट जब आपके पास आईपीएल है, जब आपके पास इंडिया ऑस्ट्रेलिया है, तो मुझे लगता नहीं है कुछ इंडिया मिस कर रहा है. क्योंकि आप देखेंगे सिर्फ आईसीसी टूर्नामेंट्स में ही इंडिया मिलता है पाकिस्तान से. तो आप वो जो मिसिंग एक टाइम पे हुआ करता था, टेस्ट सीरीज, बायलैटरल सीरीज, जो एक्साइटमेंट क्रिएट करता था, वो सडनली 2008 के बाद गायब हो गया. सो यू डोंट मिस पाकिस्तान एनी मोर. आई डोंट थिंक सो, बिकॉज इतना सारा क्रिकेट है, इतना सारा a lot of things are happening. तो आईसी this benefits the ICC more than the particular BCCI and PCB. It helps कि यार रेवेन्यू भी मिलता है और आई बॉल्स भी मिलते हैं. पीएसएल में तो नहीं मिलते, आईपीएल को तो पाकिस्तान से भी आई बॉल्स मिल जाते हैं. तो यहाँ पर ओनली दीज टू बॉडीज आर एट लॉस. एंड द थर्ड जो इम्पोर्टेंट जिनका स्टेक है वो है फैंस. India and Pakistan cricket fans. I mean, cricket fans I'm talking about. I'm not talking about fans who are like, don't go to Pakistan, don't play. मतलब जो stands लेते हैं कि यार पाकिस्तान मत जाओ, कोई different reasons से, political reasons से. But जो genuine cricket fans है, उनके लिए definitely it's a big loss यार. मतलब miss करेंगे cricket India Pakistan को. Because I mean, you spoke about the intensity, you spoke about the firepower, जिस तरह से energy. But off late आप देख रहे हैं यार what happened in the World Cup यार. इतना intensity नहीं दिखाया पाकिस्तान ने, T20 में नहीं दिखाया, 2023 वर्ल्ड कप में नहीं दिखाया. तो वी वोंट मिस दैट. तो मुझे लगता नहीं कि इतना कुछ फर्क पड़ेगा बीसीसीआई को या उनके प्लेयर्स को या उनके मैनेजमेंट को या हमारे क्रिकेट फैंस को, जो दोज हु आर लाइक filled with a lot of we are not starving for that particular thing. We have IPL and other stuff. So not much.
नहीं, I think तो भाई वो जो गल्फ आपको दिख रहा है, that is just purely because of the teams, how good India have been and how poor Pakistan have been. There's been two polar opposites that way from a team perspective. But JB, I like to bring in here in terms of हमने बात तो कर लिया कि चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी में क्या है, कैसे है पाकिस्तान, टॉकिंग अबाउट बीइंग बॉयकॉटिंग एंड स्टफ. India, agar if ICC were, as you said, had some kind of power, and they would have said, I mean, we have seen it in the past where teams have skipped major tournaments for some reason or the other, be it political tension, or be it some diplomatic issue, or the other. The 1996 World Cup, the 2003 World Cup as well, where England said we are not going to travel to Zimbabwe. Or in such चीजों में हुआ कि they forfeit the points and they said, okay, we are not playing, you forfeit the point, and that's about it. ऐसा हो नहीं सकता जहां पे आईसीसी से tells बीसीसीआई, okay fine, you're not going to participate, you're not going to travel, you forfeit your points and you're out of it. I mean, you simply cannot ICC say this to BCCI. I know the revenue and everything would come in, but if that kind of a statement of that kind of a stance is taken by the ICC, maybe I mean that could probably in a way पाकिस्तान को थोड़ा ठंडापन महसूस होगा कि चलो ठीक है, कुछ तो हमारे साथ ठीक हो रहा है. Because the stance is not clear, even ICC is not saying anything. ICC is essentially being a mediator here. On the other hand, they needed to be the main person directing traffic in terms of आपको क्या करना चाहिए, but instead they are just listening and they are just trying to mediate. ऐसा एक सिचुएशन हो सकता है where this I think bad blood, whatever diplomatic issues, whatever it is, but cricket में आपको involve करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Bad blood could be removed by just being strong in your position and saying this is what it is. If you don't do this, you will be docked points and this and that. That's it.
It could have had this happened 6 months ago. But look, we're on the 12th of November. Even if there's radio silence for the next 2 weeks, 1st of December, Jai Shah is taking over. So Jai Shah is not gonna send a mail to himself saying that. Nah. We've come too close. We've come too close to the appointment, or not the appointment, to the stepping into office of Jai Shah. Had there been a stronger ICC president, had Jai Shah not been as influential as he was right now, then maybe slim chance that happens. But right now, I mean, in 2 weeks he's going to be taking over, and I fully expect this issue to just keep on going. And once he's in charge from the first, then we'll see some big statements coming out, and it's not going to be, hey, BCCI, dock your points. The second thing is the two examples you gave. I mean, 96 and 2003, this was pre T20. That one days were a massive deal, right?
Yeah.
आज time pe, I mean, with the amount of shows we've done questioning the future. I mean, I think I said on one show the 27 World Cup might be the last relevant one-day World Cup. So it's big. I mean, look at England. England won the World Cup, and now they don't even care about one days, right? So why I'm giving this example is, अगर कोई ऐसा व्यक्ति होता आईसीसी में जिसके पास रीढ़ की हड्डी होती, or he had the Buddha to go and say something to the BCCI, you would have thought that might happen when ODIs are even more relevant. But even now, given the fact that the ODI game itself, is struggling for relevance, you might see some teams say, you know what, okay, keep the points. We actually don't care. So, but again, I mean, like I said, it's impossible for me personally to expect the ICC to do anything when we're 2 weeks away from Jai Shah becoming the president of that very board. चलो मान लो कुछ बोल भी लिया, strong worded जवाब आया, BCCI doesn't have to reply. They'll reply on December 2nd morning, na? And it'll
Absolutely,
come to I'm now your boss. क्या करेगी ICC, right? I'm still surprised the ICC's headquarters is still even in Dubai now. I'm surprised it hasn't moved to Wankhede 10 years ago. So I think it might be happening. It might be happening in the next couple of years as well. And then we'll have more work going down to D Road and jumping off the train and seeing what's happening there.
No, वो तो होगा ही होगा. I think once Jai Shah takes office, I think we may get a clearer picture in terms of what ICC is thinking, or what the plan for ICC is in terms of India Pakistan. But this is definitely going to hamper that India Pakistan side. I mean, Pakistan have gone, and there are reports in their local media saying that they're even thinking of boycotting Champions Trophy and even not playing India in the ICC tournaments in the future. That again is a big revenue impact for the ICC itself, because of this stand. And what is adding, fuel to this fire is what the former Pakistan cricketers, whatever the statesmen are, Javed Miandad, right now, yes, it's a joke what is happening. And if you don't play India at all, Pakistan cricket will only survive but prosper as well. We have shown in the past. I would like to see how the ICC event even earn money, even there is no Pakistan-India matches. And that is, I think, the moot question here, right? I mean, earning money. So whatever discussion we had, Pakistan doesn't really factor in there. As long as India is there, the money would definitely come in. And that is probably where, India gets that strength of, saying that, okay, we are not going to do this. But then again, by just to take this decision to a lighter note, the kind of statement that we are seeing, this is Javed Miandad, Basit Ali also saying something on those lines, doesn't make any sense in terms of it's just venting out frustration more than anything else, isn't it?
Absolutely, and it's more about ego, yaar. Abhi it's been high time कि यार Pakistan has to, they have been bending. On an honest note, Pakistan has been bending. Yeah, they've agreed to the Asia Cup model, but they came to the hybrid model in the Asia Cup last year. Then the World Cup, they chose to come to the World Cup. They could have ignored it, but then they could not have, but they chose to come to India. Yeah. So that factor, then again you ask Pakistan to bend in and keep a hybrid model for India to and accommodate this particular. So Pakistan को भी अपनी इज्जत बचानी है ना. I mean See, again, I would go back saying कि यार they would be naive to think कि यार इंडिया आएगा, खेलेगा हमारे साथ और खेल के खुशी खुशी चला जाएगा. ऐसा नहीं होगा. आईसीसी को भी मालूम है, इनको भी मालूम है. इन्होंने बैकअप इतना डिले किया है फॉर अ रीजन कि यार फैंस को थोड़ा डिबेट करने मिले, थोड़ा बातचीत हो, और एंड में कंक्लूजन पे आएंगे कि वही जो उनको करना था, जो मेंटली या आप प्लान बी जो कहा जाता है, उसके लिए वो तैयार होंगे, अभी से ही रेडी होंगे. आइदर इट्स पाकिस्तान, बट I mean, to engage them, I mean, Pakistan also cannot come directly and say, "Yeah, ठीक है, we are ready for the hybrid model, or we are ready to, not play, or we are ready to go to some other continent, South Africa, and play in a different country. We don't need a hybrid model. Pakistan will have that hosting rights. We'll gain the money out of it." But again, I mean, आपको जितना खींचना है, I mean, that is how politics is. That is how cricket politics is. जितना खींचना आप देखे, यूएसए वाला भी फैक्टर देखे आपने, वर्ल्ड कप भी देखे, जितना आईसीसी एंड तक खींचता है, जितना बीसीसीआई खींचता है, ऑब्वियसली बीसीसीआई हैज मोर से देन एनीबॉडी एल्स, बट जितना एंड तक खींचता है उतना आपका डिबेट तो चलता रहता है, बट फिर बाद में आपके पास कोई ऑप्शन नहीं रहता. तो यू आर रेडी विथ प्लान बी, बट यू वोंट रिमूव योर डिवल्ज योर कार्ड्स, यू वोंट रिवील योर कार्ड्स. आप ट्रम्प कार्ड लास्ट में फेंकोगे, तो वो लास्ट में जब फेंकोगे तो आपके पास क्या ये रहेगा, आपके पास कोई ऑप्शन नहीं रहेगा, चलो इसी से ही चलते हैं. So that is how Pakistan deals with situations right now. India is clear, मुझे जाना नहीं जाना है, खत्म होगी बात. यहाँ पाकिस्तान को भी बहलाना फुसलाना है. They have to show their ego. They have to show that कि यार अभी भी हम खड़े हो सकते हैं. Despite, I mean, 800 करोड़ उनका रेवेन्यू, हमारा बिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स में, तो डिफरेंस है, वो समझ में आता है सबको. बट देन एंड में, I mean, you have कुछ तो इज्जत बचानी है ना अपने आवाम के सामने. So that is how they deal with it.
Yeah, I think that's how they'll have to deal with it. And the former cricketers or Pakistan cricketers, they always, I think, are on the lookout to give out these kind of statements, which again doesn't really make sense, but it definitely becomes a huge talking point. Be it Rashid Latif and somebody like Danish Kanaria also. I mean, he takes a different stand, but again, the stance is very clear. He says that it's not going to happen, and going ahead with the CAC, the Court of Arbitration, then again doesn't make any sense. But to just wrap it up, Jamie, let's this conversation. We will see in the next coming days what the solution would be. Both the governments or both the boards have reached out to the governments, and we are at a flashpoint, so to speak, about a Champions Trophy and maybe the India-Pakistan ties. Jamie, my question is, Champions Trophy is just a blocker here. What do you think if after this episode, however it turns out, be it moved out of the country with Pakistan playing or not playing or going to a hybrid model, how much is going to affect India-Pakistan ties in cricket, where we see them playing very rarely, but then again all the ICC events are pretty much tailor made to have India and Pakistan as a marquee clash? How is this going to affect that scenario? Even if, let's say, Jesha comes in board as the ICC head, this is going to hamper. To what extent will this get hampered?
I don't think it'll actually be hampered, because at the end of the day, the money involved, right? I mean, we're now talking about 11, 12 years. Every ICC event, every ACC event is designed कि कम से कम 2 बार ये teams खेलेंगे, right? Yes, and तौसबा ने बिल्कुल सही example दिया था कि PCB accepted the hybrid model. They came to India, and we all knew that India is not going to go there. Pakistan might be very seriously considering, boycotting this and doing that. But when someone says, boss, the money that the broadcasters and the stakeholders have to gain from you, I mean, I saw the comments of Javed Miandad and Basit Ali. Unko bolne do, right? It just like Ricky Ponting wants to comment on Virat Kohli's average of 35, that's fine. Gambhir wants to say Ponting go play in traffic, that's totally fine. Log bowling, but again, we've seen. अगर ये ना भी हुआ, I still think it's going to happen. अगले साल T20 World Cup है. We already know right now कि matches India और श्रीलंका में है, right? So India Pakistan होगा. Pakistan will have no problems going to Sri Lanka, right? They may say हम India नहीं आएंगे, but the ICC will make sure that their matches are played in Hambantota, Pallekele, and India will go there, and so that broadcast factor is too big. उसके बाद 26 में आपका क्या है? 25 में आपका
T20 World Cup.
T20 is 26, और फिर 27 में the last relevant World Cup, and that's going to be in South Africa. No one's got a problem going. So the only issue will come is if any event goes back to Pakistan. And like you said, Vineet, agar 96 के बाद, whatever has happened, whatever the reason, अगर 96 के बाद ये पहला tournament है, जो पाकिस्तान में होगा, it might be another 27, 28 years until Pakistan gets yet another one, right? So what this will do is it'll ensure that, again, Pakistan's loss here, उनकी आवाम का loss होगा, fans का loss होगा, but I don't think it'll impact it because they only meet at ICC/ACC events. And Asia Cup is one of the most boring tournaments going around. We only rock up and watch it because of the India-Pakistan. And last time we got a potential cracker when India were 4 down, and then Kishan played the fight back role. That match, we won't know what happened because rain came. दूसरा क्या हुआ भाई, विराट कोहली ने वापसी की, केएल राहुल ने वापसी की, and for about a year, Vineet, maybe a year, the feared trio of Naseem Shah, Haris Rauf, and Shaheen Afridi, they were nowhere. It's taken them a year to now come back. So we know what a cracker of a contest it is. And frankly, I think barring this unfortunate incident, like unfortunate in the sense that लोग को भी लगता है कि ये unfortunate, हम तीन तो एक साल से बोल रहे नहीं होने वाला है. But I don't think it's going to impact because the bilateral level पे तो there already is been a breakdown. 2008 के बाद bilateral तो खत्म ही है. So it's not like anything new. कहीं और खेलेंगे, shouldn't be a problem.
One aspect that the fans, no, the Pakistani cricket fans should be happy, or maybe the ICC, कि इंडिया एटलीस्ट खेल रहा है पाकिस्तान को आईसीसी टूर्नामेंट्स में. मजबूरी है बट खेल रहा है. नॉर्मली आप देख रहे हैं कि बायलैटरल डिसमिस तो किया है, कोई रीजन की वजह से किया है कि यार डिसमिस कर दे आफ्टर 2008. नहीं तो आईसीसी क्वेश्चंस इन द पास्ट, देयर वर क्वेश्चन मार्क, देयर वर debates in the media, as well as there were blank papers. Newspapers had boycotted क्योंकि they were playing Pakistan. तो पूरा ऐसा, I remember when I was working for a newspaper जहां पर हमने पूरा blank रखा था न्यूज़पेपर, क्योंकि we were playing पाकिस्तान, तो हम छापने नहीं वाले कुछ भी. तो ऐसा था. तो लकीली हम नहीं लकीली हम कहीं तो खेल रहे पाकिस्तान को. तो दैट एस्पेक्ट पाकिस्तान शुड कंसिडर कि यार इंडिया कहीं खेल रहा है और कहीं ना कहीं तो मजे मिल रहे हैं, फैंस को मिल रहे हैं, और पीसीबी को एक थोड़ा सा रेवेन्यू मिल रहा है उससे भी, जो भी है जैसा भी है. और आईसीसी को भी वो एक एस्पेक्ट कंसिडर करना चाहिए. एंड द बेस्ट पार्ट फॉर आईसीसी एंड पाकिस्तान क्रिकेट बोर्ड इज कि यार हर साल कोई ना कोई आईसीसी टूर्नामेंट्स हो रहे हैं. आप देखिए, चाहे वुमेन्स में हो या ये हो, हर 6 महीने पे हो रहा है. आप T23 वर्ल्ड कप हो गया, 20 फिर उसके इमीडिएटली बाद 24 T20 वर्ल्ड कप हो गया, उसके बाद 25 में चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी, 26 में एक और T20 वर्ल्ड कप, 27 में आईसीसी वर्ल्ड कप. तो अब इंडिया पाकिस्तान हर साल वो मार्की क्लैश तो हो ही रहा है ना. सो दैट एस्पेक्ट इट शुड बी कंसिडर्ड कि यार हो रहा है. एटलीस्ट बीसीसीआई, एटलीस्ट गवर्नमेंट, बीसीसीआई नहीं, गवर्नमेंट एटलीस्ट अलाउ कर रही है कि यार तुम आईसीसी खेलो, तुम बायलैटरल मत खेलो, मगर आईसीसी खेलो, विच इज स्टिल फाइन यार. आई थिंक इतना भी वो नहीं करना चाहिए. तो दे शुड गो अहेड विथ हाइब्रिड मॉडल और शिफ्ट टू यूएई. नो बिग डील यार, बिग डील. फैंस थोड़ा सैक्रिफाइस कर लें इधर उधर से, बाकी क्या है यार, जाके ट्रैवल कर ले यूएई. अच्छा मौसम भी रहेगा यूएई में.
That is true, and also I think in सब चीजों में ये है ना, that the classic the economic principle of supply and demand, I think that pretty much fits in for India Pakistan. That's what it is, and that's what keeps everybody on the toes, and that what keeps the India Pakistan rivalry as the marquee clash, because of the supply and the demand for it. So that's about it. It was a good discussion. Thank you, gentlemen, Taos and Jamie, for your time. And as we wrap, it's clear the Champions Trophy has become the flashpoint in this long-standing India-Pakistan rivalry. And with PCB standing firm on fully hosting on fully having the hosting rights, and BCCI bounded by their government directives, it's a very complex situation for ICC, and how they navigate this, this delicate situation would be something that would be interesting to see. As we mentioned, December 1, things would change in the ICC as well. Does that make the stance also change? Would be something interesting. But then again, thank you, gentlemen, and thank you for you all for tuning in to Cricket Next Live, and stay with us as the story unfolds. Thank you once again.